In the heart of every big change, there's a tipping point. It's that precise moment when a trend becomes a phenomenon. Picture a seesaw, it's perfectly balanced. A feather lands on one end, nothing happens. Then another feather, and another. Still nothing, but suddenly, one more feather drops, and the seesaw tips. It's not the last feather that's special, but the cumulative weight of all the feathers before it. That's the essence of a tipping point. In Malcolm Gladwell's book, The Tipping Point, How Little Things Can Make a Big Difference, he explores this fascinating concept. The tipping point is defined as the moment of critical mass, the threshold that leads to a dramatic change. It's the instant when the momentum for change becomes unstoppable. Gladwell's book isn't just about defining the tipping point, it's about understanding how these tipping points work and how they can be triggered. It's about identifying the precise moments when trends tip and become social epidemics, when ideas spread virally and when behaviors become commonplace. The tipping point is filled with captivating stories and case studies, unraveling the mystery behind why crime rates dropped dramatically, how hush puppies' shoes became trendy again, and why certain children's television shows become phenomenally popular. In each instance, Gladwell identifies a tipping point, a moment of critical mass that leads to a sea change. But more than that, Gladwell provides a framework for understanding how to create tipping points. He suggests that by understanding the principles behind these phenomena, we can learn to initiate positive trends and changes in our societies. So, whether you're a marketer trying to make your product go viral, a social activist wanting to create a movement, or simply a curious mind interested in the mechanics of social change, the tipping point offers a unique lens to view the world. The tipping point is a guide to understanding the magic moment when an idea, trend, or behavior crosses a threshold and spreads like wildfire. It's about the little things that can make a big difference. And who knows, perhaps understanding these principles could help you spark the next big change. Gladwell introduces us to the 3 rules or laws that govern how something tips and becomes an epidemic. Let's dive into the first law, the law of the few. This law states that epidemics are driven by a select group of individuals with a unique set of social gifts. Think of these individuals as the match that lights the fire. They are the connectors, mavens, and salespeople who spread the message. And without them, even the most potent idea wouldn't gain any traction. They are the social glue that holds communities together and the catalysts of change. Next, we explore the stickiness factor, the second law of epidemics. This law points to the content of the idea itself. For an idea to stick, it has to be memorable and make an impact. It's the difference between a catchy tune you can't get out of your head and a song you forget the moment it's over. The stickiness factor is what makes an idea compelling and unforgettable, leading to its widespread adoption. And finally, we come to the power of context, the third law of epidemics. This law emphasizes the importance of environment and timing in an epidemic. It suggests that human behavior is sensitive to and strongly influenced by its environment. So, even the smallest changes in context can have a dramatic effect on how people act and respond. It's the reason why a whisper can start a revolution in the right place and at the right time. So there you have it. The 3 laws of epidemics, the law of the few, the stickiness factor, and the power of context. Each law is like a piece of a puzzle, and when these pieces come together, they create the perfect conditions for a tipping point. These laws provide a framework for understanding how small changes can have big effects and how to trigger a tipping point. Gladwell doesn't just tell us about these laws, he shows us how they work in real life. Let's delve into some intriguing examples from the book to illustrate these laws in action. The first story is the unexpected resurgence of hush puppies, a classic American shoe brand. In the mid-90s, the brand was on the verge of extinction. But then something unusual happened. In Manhattan, a handful of hipsters started wearing hush puppies because they were so uncool they were cool. This tiny group of influencers sparked a trend that spread like wildfire. By the end of 1995, the company sold 430,000 pairs of shoes, a drastic leap from the 30,000 pairs they had sold the previous year. This is a perfect example of the law of the few. A small group of people triggered a massive trend. Let's turn our attention to another captivating story. In the 90s, New York City was notorious for its high crime rate. However, in the mid-90s, crime rates took a surprising nosedive. What happened? The city implemented a strategy focused on tackling minor offences like graffiti and fare evasion on the subways. The theory was that by controlling the small things, the big things would take care of themselves. And indeed they did. Major crimes, including homicides, dropped dramatically. This displays the stickiness factor in action. A seemingly insignificant change stuck and led to a significant shift in behaviour. Now let's consider the power of context with the case of Rebecca Wells's novel, The Divine Secrets of the Ya-Ya Sisterhood. Despite modest sales after publication, the book became a sleeper hit due to the innovative idea of reading groups. Women across America started forming these groups, and The Divine Secrets of the Ya-Ya Sisterhood was a popular pick. The intimate context of these reading groups created the perfect environment for the book to become a word-of-mouth sensation. Each of these examples demonstrates how the three laws interact to create a tipping point. In the Hush Puppies story, we see how a few hipsters, acting as connectors, mavens and salesmen, sparked a nationwide trend, demonstrating the law of the few. The drop in New York's crime rate shows how a simple idea can stick and cause a significant shift in behavior, illustrating the stickiness factor. And finally, the success of The Divine Secrets of the Ya-Ya Sisterhood shows how the power of context can create the perfect conditions for an idea to spread. These examples bring to life the laws of epidemics and show us how the tipping point can be reached in different scenarios. Understanding the tipping point is not just a fascinating intellectual exercise, it has practical implications too. Let's take a moment to ponder on this. The concepts and principles laid out in The Tipping Point can be applied to a wide array of fields. From marketing to social activism and even public health, the power of the tipping point is far-reaching. In the realm of marketing, understanding the tipping point can be the difference between a product becoming a household name or fading into obscurity. Marketers can harness the power of connectors, mavens and salesmen, the key players in Gladwell's theory, to create a buzz around their product. By identifying and influencing these individuals, they can effectively trigger a social epidemic, causing their product to tip into widespread popularity. In the sphere of social activism, the tipping point can be a powerful tool for change. Activists can use the principles laid out in the book to spread their message and cause behavioral change on a large scale. By focusing on the small details, the nuances that make a message stick, activists can create a groundswell of support that tips public opinion in their favor. Public health is another field where the tipping point plays a crucial role. In battling diseases, understanding the tipping point can help public health officials design effective interventions. They can focus on the critical mass needed to tip the balance in their favor, whether it's in promoting healthy behaviors or in preventing the spread of diseases. In essence, the tipping point is about how little things can make a big difference. It's about understanding the dynamics of social epidemics and how they can be influenced. It's about realizing that small changes in the right places can have dramatic effects. So whether you're a marketer looking to launch a new product, an activist aiming to change the world, or a public health official battling a disease, understanding the tipping point can give you the edge you need. The tipping point gives us the tools to make a difference on a large scale by focusing on the small details. The tipping point has resonated with readers worldwide, and for good reason. Its popularity can be attributed to its clear, engaging writing style that keeps readers hooked from start to finish. Malcolm Gladwell has a unique knack for taking complex concepts and breaking them down into digestible, compelling narratives that leave a lasting impression. The book's insightful ideas have sparked a global conversation, challenging our understanding of how ideas spread and how change occurs. It provides practical implications, making us aware of the subtle triggers that can lead to significant transformations, whether in business, social movements, or personal growth. Moreover, it has had a profound impact on how people think about spreading ideas and causing change. It has shifted paradigms, inspiring individuals, businesses and communities to strive for that elusive tipping point where little things can indeed make a big difference. The tipping point changes the way we think about change itself. It shows us that big changes start small and that we all have the power to make a difference.